All right, and we're back with another episode of Average Jose's Sports Talk.
Sports Talk.
I'm your host, Jeremiah,
And I'm the other guy, Cullen. I
and we
almost said
got
unstoppable.
we got a pretty good episode for you guys here today. College conference championships are wrapped up, and we're moving on to bowl season. 49ers and Eagles finally played, and it was a game. The NBA in-season tournament is moving on to its elimination rounds, and there's some surprising wins there. But before we get to all that, we got to start with our weekly Immaculate Grid.
Immaculate Riz.
It's pretty close. You're getting better.
You're getting better.
Not
I've always
sponsored by
wanted to hear that.
anybody that you see on the screen.
Don't even look at the screen.
Don't look at the screen. Look away. Why are you still looking? All right. Clear that up.
If you're watching on YouTube, I need you to close your eyes for this segment.
All right, everyone. You get ready to close your eyes.
First one's
I'm
easy.
sharing screen. Yeah, the LSU Bengals one.
Chopper.
Let's do Jamar Chase, though.
I hope you're wrong, because that'd be hilarious.
Let's try and get some, like... No, Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow played together, right?
I know, but I hope you're wrong.
I just wanted to get 54%. Joe Burrow was less than Jamar Chase? Wow. I was just trying to get more, like, rarity points, but holy cow. Okay.
I want to say Ryan Fitzpatrick for the
Ryan
middle one.
Fitzpatrick's the
I'm
middle
pretty
one.
sure he played for the Bucks.
Yeah, he played for the Buccaneers.
Okay.
I want to say Ryan Fitzpatrick for the bottom one.
No, you could do Brett Favre for the bottom.
Oh,
bottom
yeah,
middle.
because he's doing the Aaron Rodgers, or he did the Aaron Rodgers.
No, Aaron Rodgers is doing the Brett Favre. They don't have a Brett Favre picture? That's crazy.
That is kind of insane.
The problem is, I'm not
I don't know a lot
colleges.
of LSU. Yeah, I don't know a lot of LSU players, so that's a tough one.
I don't know college and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I also don't know transfers.
Yeah, that's hard. When it's not, like, big name players, I'm just like, who's where?
Yeah, like, it's not Tom Brady, so I'm like, oh, too bad, or no. I'm going to say too bad the Bengals isn't the Browns because Joe Flacco, but was he ever a Jaguar? Because he played for the Ravens, I know. I can't think if he played.
I don't think Joe Flacco was on the Jaguars. Yeah, I don't think he was. I don't even know who's on the Jaguars, dog.
Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I was gonna say Trevor Lawrence. Calvin Ridley.
Calvin Ridley played for. He wasn't a Buck. It was another red team. He was Falcons, wasn't he?
Might be. We also didn't describe this grid at all to people. So the top three.
That's why you need to watch on my YouTube channel, Extra Unstoppable. Go check it out.
Top three teams are Jaguars, Jets, and LSU. And then the left three are Bengals, Buccaneers, and Vikings. So we have Jamar Chase going to LSU and playing for the Bengals. Ryan Fitzpatrick clearly played for Jets and Buccaneers. And then Brett Favre played Jets and Vikings. So now we just got, 3, 4, 5, 6 left to get.
This is crazy, as I'm nowhere closer to having any answers.
I was trying to buy you time. I don't even know. Who was the Jets' big quarterback way back when? No, I think he only played for the Jets. I don't think he...
Didn't Joe Flacco play for the Jets?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I think he did, didn't he? He did like a stint.
I think so, but I don't think he ever played for the Bengals.
I don't think he did.
I'm so bad at this.
Tim Tebow played for the Jets.
But he didn't play for the Bengals.
No. LSU, that's a hard one, bro. I don't know who came out of LSU. Like,
I have no idea. I'm so bad with colleges. I don't pay attention like that.
Yeah.
And it's also like I didn't become a true football fan until I was like 12 or 13, so I wasn't paying attention to college players back then.
LSU players on the Buccaneers. Leonard Fournette. Holy cow, believe it or not. Leonard Fournette went to...
Mm-hmm.
You good?
I did know that. What do you mean, am I good?
You said... Mm-hmm. Thought you were like
I had
gagged and
stuff
like
in my mouth.
someone had you at gunpoint. You're trying to signal to me or something. Bear with me here. Have you seen that post? That's a funny post.
What you're talking about?
Justin Jefferson went to LSU, dude.
That's crazy because I was thinking Justin Jefferson, but the name that popped in my head was Stephon Diggs. And I was like, I don't think Stephon went to LSU. Yeah, we're casuals.
Yeah.
Good thing we have a sports podcast.
Yeah, good thing no one listens to it. Let's see. CJ Uzomah played for Jets and Bengals. He was active
The thing is, I've heard that name.
2015 to current. You recognize his face?
Yeah.
That's the dude from Hard Knocks.
Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
That's why the name's that, yeah.
Let's see. Kevin Hardy played for Jaguars and Bengals.
Kevin Hart?
Okay,
Which one?
2 Kevin Hardys. This one was born in 73, so I'm guessing it's not the bottom one who played
Not the one that
72.
played in 68.
That's funny, dude. He played till 72, died, and was reincarnated in the second Kevin Hardy, who went to play in the
Played
NFL.
again.
Buccaneers. Daryl Smith.
I don't know who that is.
I've heard of him before. Oh my gosh. I hate this. You want to take a guess which one it is?
2004 to 2016?
I don't know. You want to go with that one?
Oh. You don't have his birthday or anything?
No. Daryl Smith, linebacker. Here we go. These photos look fairly new. He's 41 years old, so I'm gonna say it's.
I'm gonna assume he didn't play in
this
87.
one. Nice.
I was right. 0.2%.
Well,
I've
yeah.
never seen it that low.
Well, yeah. Who else is gonna like? I mean, that's crazy. This is just the first player that came up, so I don't know if there's a more obvious one everyone's going with, but you think
Probably he's only 0.2.
you think like if there was a more obvious one, it'd be the first thing on Google. And then Brian Williams played for Vikings and Jaguars. Please, oh my gosh.
So many. Well, we can rule out the bottom one because he only played for 1 year, and I doubt he played for 2 teams.
Yeah. This says that Grant. Hang on. All right. This one says Benjamin Elfson. Let's go with that. I bet that's a more rare name.
Believe it or not.
It's not even a name, apparently. Oh, they put him in as Ben. Played for 2 years in the NFL, and then he was done. He played for. He probably did like 1 season with the Jaguars and was like, man, this sucks.
How does that guy have a picture, but Brett Favre doesn't?
Right? I wonder if it's just because Brett Favre's an older player. Oh, no. But there's the Immaculate Grid. Time for basketball.
You got this one, buddy.
You ready? Go ahead and start us off.
Larry Bird.
I think Yao Ming played for the Rockets. Yeah. Steve Nash played for the Suns. And then I'm trying to think. I feel like
Was it not Larry Bird?
Oh, Mary Bird. Nice job, bud.
I got one.
See, they have photos for these old players, but Brett Favre doesn't get one. All right, what else, dude? Come on, keep going. This one's terrible. The remaining boxes are Jazz and OKC on the top, and then Rockets, Celtics, Suns on the left.
Tom Hiddleston?
was a guess, yeah.
What's funny is you
Oh,
probably don't even know who I was thinking of.
no, probably didn't. I forgot Kevin Durant played for OKC.
Um,
Oh, and then James Harden played for the
that's
Rockets.
the one I was literally saying. I'm not even kidding.
Hiddleston, Harden. I could see it.
Well, because I was gonna say Tom Hardy. I was like, that's not right. I was like,
So you just
I don't want
committed
it
to
to
the
be
bit.
too close. That way he knows that I'm super wrong. So I'll say Tom Hiddleston. I swear I was thinking of
That's
James
funny.
Harden.
I believe it. I mean, I can see it. That's funny. The hard part is I don't know a lot of jazz players.
Like jazz.
That could be the New Orleans Jazz or Utah Jazz, by the way. So like, also it's crazy.
That's crazy.
OKC was Seattle Supersonics up until 2008 because Kevin Durant played on the Supersonics.
Well, also Ice Cube has the song. He says the Lakers beat the Supersonics. I had no idea what that meant until just now when you hovered over and it said Supersonics.
Yeah. 1947 for the Celtics. That's kind of nuts.
That's the year I was born.
I don't know who would have been on. Yeah, I don't know like any. I have not watched NBA lately. It's tough.
I'm surprised I got two of these people.
I'm proud of you, bud. I mean, James Harden's an easy one because he's the Ryan Fitzpatrick of the NBA.
I didn't even know his name. I called him Tom Hardy.
You called him Tom Hiddleston.
Out loud, I called him Tom Hiddleston. In my head, I called him Tom Hardy.
Let's see. Jazz and Rockets. Oh, wow, I don't know any of these players.
Oh, wow, these are not real people.
Pete Chilcutt.
That's a name.
0.9%.
Heck yeah. We're getting some points today.
Pete Maravich. That's Pistol Pete.
You're Pistol Pete.
Stop. Yo, look at that hair.
Yeah, that's insane. That looks like it's out of a movie.
Jeff Hornacek.
Stop.
What? Not the coach? I'm so confused. All right, you have to guess the
I
last
didn't know
one.
coaches were a part of this. Okay. OKC, Celtics. This is obviously Dennis Johnson.
I can try it. Dude, 4%. Good job. We did better on this one than we did on the football one.
Well,
maybe we should
you
stop
did better
talking.
on that one.
Stop
I
talking.
did better.
I mean, you got Larry Bird and Tom Hiddleston, dog. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Putting up numbers. Oh my!
I am a lot better at the football one. I pay way more attention to football.
Yeah, football is a tough. Like, I feel like basketball might be easier just because it feels like there's a lot of trades in basketball like that go around. Like, I don't know. I feel like players move around teams a lot more.
There's also less players per team, so you're
True.
keeping track
So
of a
you're
lot less. Football, you're like, there's 53 men on the main team. There's also a practice squad.
You think they count practice squads? You think if I was just like, oh, well, I know that like this
Joe
player's on the
Flacco's
practice
the
squad.
Browns practice squad.
But he played a
count.
game. He played a game though. Like that's the thing. He's played a game. Would he have counted prior to Sunday?
I don't know.
I thought you made
had
these.
It happen yet.
We don't know any practice squad players. Here's what we'll do, okay? I will go professional and join the NFL. I'll play a season with like some team, request a trade and to be put on the practice squad.
Request to be put on the
And then whenever there's an immaculate grid with these two teams, we'll try my name out and see if it works.
See, Colin Kaepernick could have helped us out if he got on someone's practice squad.
Yeah.
Who was he looking to get on their practice squad?
The Jets. Yeah.
We could have literally had a Jets 49ers one and seen
tested it out.
It worked.
Well, I mean, and freaking Joe Flacco had to go and start this week. And then spoiler for later, but now he's back on the squad. So it's like, what was the point of that if you're just going to ruin my immaculate grid now and get a loss? So Cleveland Browns, if you guys are watching this, count your days. Team takes.
Team Takis.
This one's gonna be a little bit awkward because Bears had a bye week. University of Wyoming wasn't in their conference championship, so they had a bye week. Broncos lost, and then the University of Oregon lost. So it's going to be me talking.
And I'm not sad.
And you, yeah. So let's just start this off. Broncos Texans. Broncos lost 22-17.
No.
What's crazy is this is insane, dude. So these stats, okay? CJ Stroud, 16 for 27, 274 yards. Like 274 yards on 16 completions is like okay, you know.
Pretty
27,
good, yeah.
27 attempts is wild. One touchdown, 5 sacks, QBR of 17. Russell Wilson had one less completion, one less attempt, about 100 less yards, same amount of touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and 3 sacks, and a QBR of 20.4. Who is this man paying off to have his QBR a few points higher than quarterbacks when you could argue they had better games? I mean, CJ Stroud put up 100 more yards on one more attempt and one more completion.
Threw the full field in that one.
And he threw 3 less interceptions. So I don't know. The more like we do this and the more we like actually look at QBR and stats, the more I'm just like, I don't know if I trust QBR anymore.
QBR doesn't matter at all.
Yeah, it was a crazy game. It was
an
another
average of like almost 20 yards per completion for CJ Stroud.
Yeah, because like what 274 divided by 16, that's 17 yards per completion.
Yeah.
But I think they do. Oh yeah, I think they do per completion. I don't remember.
Because the thing you looked up last time said it was like based off of how the play should go.
Yeah, that's part of it. And then it's like they multiply it where it's like yards divided by like attempts, yards divided by like completions, yards divided by like touchdowns or something weird. It's such a weird formula that I don't really care to learn. Because I'm just gonna trash it every time regardless. So
true.
It was a crazy game though. I mean, it was another game where it came down to like the last few seconds for the Broncos. And this time though, like, so 2 of those 3 interceptions came on like the last 2 drives the Broncos had. One of them, if I remember correctly, was in the end zone. He threw an interception in the end zone. But it was just Russell Wilson trying to make something happen downfield. He'd gotten away with a few like 30-yard, passes earlier in the game where he could just zip it out there and like Sutton is just right there to catch it. Texans weren't going to let that happen anymore, especially if he was going to lose the game. So if you guys remember, this is a pretty big game just because both these teams were at the top of the bubble for their conference. Now the Texans have taken that top spot, and the Broncos are now one more game behind. What really sucks is the Chiefs lost this week, so the Broncos could have been one game behind the Chiefs for division lead, but we had to get the loss. So, and then
that happened with the Bears. So.
Bears lost to the bye week. They had 10 injuries. Could you imagine? Like, I feel like that's the only way you lose the bye week is if like your starting squad decided to go like on a trip to Chuck E. Cheese and like the bus crashed and fell off a bridge and like 11 players maimed and injured and can't play this week. It's like, okay, yeah, we lost bye week this week.
What sucks is there are bye weeks where people will do their practices and stuff and get injured, pull a hammy and stuff in the bye week.
Right.
And then it's like, how did you get injured by not playing anyone? Like you literally
it's like
got injured not playing.
It was funny because it's like, bro, your day job is tackle football, but like you tore your Achilles when you went to the park with your daughter and like tried to do the monkey bars. Like what? Like, yeah. So Bears are on a bye week. I didn't realize they were on a bye week until I was doing this, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right. There wasn't a Bears game this weekend. I was just not processing it.
That's why I had Sam Howell and we talked about it.
And then I was like, oh yeah, he said that Fields is on a bye. University of Wyoming also didn't play. They weren't in their conference championship, which you could argue that they should have been just because they won all their home games.
And they're the best team.
But they did announce their bowl game, and they will be playing in the Arizona Bowl against Toledo. What's
Who's
actually
like 10-2 or something.
Yeah, what's actually crazy is Oregon is playing the Fiesta Bowl, which I believe is in Arizona as well.
So we could go to both of them.
Except they moved Oregon's to the New Year's Day bowl game, which I was like, that's interesting. It's like their 14th New Year's Day bowl game they've had. Partly because of college playoffs, that when they've been in the playoffs a decent amount. But I just think that's so funny that they're just like, Oregon's like, oh, okay, like, well, I get ready to play like this last game in December, and they're like, no, you guys need to fly out there on New Year's Day. And they're like, bro. It's also like no one's gonna watch that because the playoffs will be going on. I don't know if they'll be at the same
Not
time.
same time.
But speaking of Oregon and my disappointment, they lost their Pac-12 championship to Washington, 34 to 31. Bo Nix, went off. He was 21 of 34 for 239 yards, 3 touchdowns, and only 1 interception. Penix had a trash game of 27 for 39, 319 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Bo Nix's QBR was 1.2 points higher. Probably just because he attempted 5 less passes, but he also had 6 less completions. So QBR is a scam. Don't believe it.
He also had 2 more touchdowns.
This was a tough one. We were down like 20-10 at halftime, and I think we could have won this. Our second half was way better. I think we could have won this game if we hadn't let it get so out of hand in the first half. Because then now coming into second half, we only had 2 quarters to make up, all the momentum we had lost in the first half, and being down 10 while Washington still continues to score.
If they had done better in the first quarter, it would have been a different game.
Oh my gosh! First two drives were both 3 and out. With only like one run. I was like, why are you not utilizing your run? And then the second half, they didn't like pass the ball once, and I was like, what is happening? Like, it was just such a messy game, and yeah, it is funny though. So they had 5, I'm pretty sure, incomplete passes. Maybe some of them were completed, but if they had 5 incomplete passes, that's 5 out of the 13 incompletions right off the rip, right there.
2 drives.
So yeah, it was a disappointing game, and especially since Georgia lost, like that was even more painful because then I was like, dude, we definitely would have gotten a spot. Like, that's tough. Did you say that they announced the Final Four for Heisman?
No.
It's Penix, Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels, and Harrison Jr.
Nice.
So the 4 that everyone thought it was going to be. I didn't think J.J. McCarthy was going to get it. I think J.J. McCarthy could have had a chance if they didn't only use him in the first half for every game for the whole season.
Yeah.
They'd like finish the half and they'd be like, all right, we're up by 50. JJ, you can go ahead and head home now. We're going to use our 4th string quarterback. But he's just like,
we have a car outside waiting for you?
I have 250 yards in the first half. Can I keep going? No, man, we don't want to risk you. Like,
Coach, I'm on track for a 1,000-yard game that's never been done. Could I possibly just stay in?
They do that, and they just run the ball because they don't want him to get sacked. Yeah, so I don't know. It's so hard because all 4 of them have like excelled in such drastically different ways. Like, Jaden Daniels had that one insane game where he set records, and like that's what put him in the Heisman talk. Bo Nix has consistently had like multiple touchdown games. Low yardage typically, but like he's getting the ball in the end zone, which you could argue that's the point of the quarterback. Penix is always putting up high yardage games, so then you're like, okay, he's moving the ball down the field. And then Harrison Jr. is a cracked receiver, but like because he's been getting double covered so much, they haven't used him as much as they've like gone. Ohio State has gone to like their tight ends more. So that's kind of a tough one. I know Heisman's like a vote. Is it that like the people vote?
I don't know. That's what I was looking up.
I figured that's what you were looking up. I saw you had your research face on.
Because I I was thinking I'll just go cast my vote, but I don't.
Who would you vote for, Harrison?
Yeah.
I know you're a big Harrison fan. Who actually votes for the Heisman? Media votes from 6 regions across the country: Far West, Mid-Atlantic, Southwest, Northeast, Midwest, South. 1 vote from all 57 previous winners, and 1 fan vote. So the fans do vote, but whoever the majority is coming out of that just gets 1 vote out of it. So it's like the electoral college. It doesn't make a lot of sense, and it's kind of screwing people over.
Kyler Murray was a Heisman winner?
Just kidding. I don't know.
It looks like Kyler Murray. There's a picture of every Heisman winner on the back wall. It's
Oh,
pretty cool, actually.
that's interesting though. When it says media votes, is that just like if we start a newspaper, could we start voting for Heisman by ourselves?
No, I don't think
That's
so.
the media. This is a media pod. This podcast is media. Does that mean we get a vote now for like what would we be? We'd probably be Far West.
It's emailed to 870 members of the media. I don't know how they decide which media and which members are
Can
going
we
to
bump
email
that
it
up to
to.
871?
Probably not.
Hey, Heisman.com, if you guys are watching this, can you add us to that email list? We'd love to be on it.
What's crazy is it will be over 1,000 total votes at some point in time.
Especially with all previous winners getting to vote.
Mm-hmm.
Huh, interesting. So yeah, that's team takes. It was a rough week for both of us, just because you were suffering with me.
The deadline for submitting votes is December 4th at 5 p.m.
Oh, so we can't
That
even
was
vote.
yesterday.
Yeah. Moving on though to news around the world.
The world.
When you put in that Daft Punk song, where it's like around the world, around
Around the
the
world,
world.
around the world.
You don't even need to put it in. You did it right there. Beautiful.
Perfect.
Conference championships for this weekend, like I said, for college, some big games. Some of the bigger ones that had implications on playoffs. Number 7, Texas beat number 18, Oklahoma State,
Oklahoma.
49-21. Kind of gross. Quinn Ewers went 35 of 46 for 452 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Texas running back Robinson had 4 carries for 75 yards and 2 touchdowns. Texas had 662 total yards compared to Oklahoma's 281, and they only punted the ball once.
Surprised they punted the ball at all.
I was watching that game, bro. I knew that like Texas is like Robinson and like their running back room is insane. Watching that though, like it looked like Oklahoma State was standing still. Like I said, Texas is the only team that could get away with a screen pass and put it for 50 yards because they would catch that and then just be booking it down the field, dude. Like
I'm surprised the quarterback had so many yards. He doesn't typically do that.
I think it's because they did so many screen passes and they'd catch a screen and then they'd move it 60 yards. So that's a 60-yard pass for him when all he did was basically do a pitch a few extra yards to his right.
Yeah.
So it was insane. Like I was telling you yesterday, I mean, I think that I feel like there's a good chance Arch Manning goes to the portal. Like, I don't know. Like, with Ewers putting up these numbers as a sophomore, I just don't think we see him going anywhere anytime soon. You know,
when you say goes to the portal, what are you talking about?
Like the transfer portal.
The transfer portal?
Yeah.
Okay.
What else would I be talking about?
Every
Portal,
time
the video
you
game?
said enters the portal, I thought you meant to go to the NFL. Every single time you told me.
Really?
I thought that's what you meant. And I was like, why would he go to the NFL? No one knows what he can do.
That's so funny because yesterday you were like, I mean, I guess, but like, no one knows what he can do. He hasn't done anything. I was like, well, he's like the top high school prospect.
That's when you tell. That's when you tell me, hey, dummy head.
I didn't realize you thought the NFL.
When I said no one knows what he can do, why would they draft him? Obviously, I'm talking about NFL.
I just thought you said I thought you were using draft as a weird way for pick him up.
He's the number 1 high school prospect, and I was like, so how that doesn't translate? And not once were you like, he's thinking NFL.
Well. Kobe was the number 1 high school prospect, and he went straight to the NBA. So So now that you know what I'm actually talking about, do you think we see Arch Manning leave Texas?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. Because I was
Before I
about to
was
say,
like, I want to shoot you down. When
it's
I
a
was like,
hot
I don't
take.
want to kill his hopes, but I don't
We
think
tossed
he
on the
would go
hot
to the
take segment.
NFL right
Arch
away.
Manning going to go first overall for the NFL this year.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Um, yeah, just I didn't realize Ewers was a sophomore, and so when I saw that, I was like, "Why is Arch Manning's a third string quarterback?" Like,
Yeah,
yeah. So we'll see. Texas has
goes
been
to
put in.
Wyoming. That'd be crazy.
That would be crazy. The same vibes. Texas is put in at number 3 for the playoffs, so They'll be playing. They'll be playing against Washington for that first round. So yeah, should be a good game. Probably the biggest game of the weekend though was number 1 Georgia versus
Ooh,
number 8 Alabama. Roll Tide.
ooh.
You want to talk about this game, buddy?
No, you're the college talker.
Oh, okay. Alabama won 27-24. It was funny watching that game because like Alabama got out to like a 10-3 lead or something. But then like once they got like that lead, Georgia would score like 7,
Hmm.
Alabama would score 7. Georgia would kick a field goal, Alabama would kick a field goal.
I
Like no matter
told you
like
it went
what
back and
like no
forth.
matter what Georgia did, Alabama would answer with like the exact same points. It seemed like so they kept it
Yeah,
just
because
to have
every
a
time I was like, oh, up by 10, up by 3, up
up
by
by
10,
10,
up by
up by
3.
3. Yeah, like the
Every
whole
single
game.
time.
Um, Milrow went 13-23 for 192 yards and 2 touchdowns. Nothing like too insane there. I feel like he isn't like a high producing quarterback, anyways. Um,
No, not really.
the team stats were crazy to like look at though. So Georgia's total yards was 321 versus Alabama's 306. Georgia had 19 first downs. Alabama had 20. Georgia punted 4 times. Alabama punted 5 times. And there was a 2-minute, 18-second difference on possession time. I think Alabama had more possession time. So it was a pretty even game. I mean, Georgia lost, but
Yeah.
they had more of a fight than honestly I thought they would. This was easily their toughest matchup of the season.
I thought it'd be a close game. I just
Yeah,
the entire time expected Alabama to win.
a 3-point win was not what I was expecting out of Alabama. I thought it'd be like a 10-14 point.
I was expecting a close game. I definitely wasn't expecting an Alabama blowout. They
Yeah,
just don't have the team for it
no,
exactly.
it's not. Yeah,
But they definitely have the team for a win against Georgia.
oh
So
yeah,
I was
um,
expecting a win of any kind.
yeah. So Alabama was put in at number 4 for college playoffs, which angered a lot of Florida State fans. But they'll be playing Michigan to start off the playoffs. Speaking of Michigan,
Michigane.
number 2 Michigan beat Iowa 26-0. McCarthy only had 147 yards, but Blake Corum had 2 rushing touchdowns. Total yards in the game combined for both teams 368
It was an awful game.
with
I don't
13
know
total
how the
punts.
score was even 26. Like,
With 13 total punts, dude, that's insane. I didn't realize Iowa had such a defensive team. So Michigan's getting ready to face Alabama. I think that'll be a really fun game to watch. So New Year's Day, keep an eye out for it. And then number 14 Louisville lost to number 4 Florida State. I didn't put the score, but I think it was like 16-14, 16-13. It was a close game. 16-12.
for which one?
Florida State. It was like
16 to 6.
16-6. So it wasn't as close as I thought. Florida State's freshman third string quarterback went 8 for 21 for 55 yards. Louisville's quarterback went 14 to 36 for 111 yards and 1 interception. The only reason Florida State won was because their running back, Toafili, had 10 carries for 118 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
After looking at
That
the
was
stats,
an
I'm
awful
I'm
game.
more understanding of why Florida State was not given a
That's
spot.
what I was trying to tell you when we were driving. I was like, dog, their quarterback had 50 yards. Like, that's not a
I
winning
had
team.
not real I had not processed that, so when I looked at it, I was like, I mean, to be fair, like their second stringer is back now, so like he would have been able to play in the game, but yeah, that's
I was trying to help you understand that, like, yes, they had an undefeated season, but without their quarterback, like, they're not going to beat big teams. I straight up
yeah,
told you, I was like, they don't have what it takes to beat a
that
top 4 team.
that's fair. I just wanted to see the slaughter. Um,
I guess, yeah.
moving on, you want to talk about these NFL games?
Nope. Okay. Packers versus Chiefs. This one hurt. Um, Packers win 27-19.
Crazy win.
It hurt for multiple reasons. One being Packers are in the Bears division, so that win hurts, especially because we both played the Chiefs and the Bears did not beat the Chiefs. We actually kind of got effed by the Chiefs. So Jordan Love went 25-36 for 267 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Bro, where are these stats coming from Jordan Love all of a sudden?
Those aren't even good stats, bro.
I mean, throwing 3 touchdowns is
The
pretty
three
solid.
touchdowns is pretty solid. This one hurts. Pacheco had 18 carries for 110 yards and a touchdown. My fantasy week, I had AJ Dillon, who did quite a bit in the first half, and then I don't think he remembered where he was in the second half. Didn't really like do
Yeah,
anything at
because
all. I
Jordan
don't know
Love
if he
was
had
hogging the
shoes.
ball. Jordan Love was hogging the ball.
AJ Dillon is usually a target for Jordan Love. I don't think
Oh,
he got the ball thrown to him one time.
I was just trying to feed your Jordan Love hate. I'm sorry.
I do hate Jordan Love. I hate that he didn't pass AJ Dillon once. And then the dude I was playing had Pacheco, so that was really a good time for him to have a breakout game.
I will say I'm impressed with Jordan Love stepping into this role of starting quarterback, and like it seems like he's starting to make it his own position and not I feel like he's moved past the shadow of Aaron Rodgers, and everyone's starting to respect and realize like, oh no, we're in the Jordan Love era now. Like this is, it was rough to start the season, but I think like the Packers are in a good place now. They're looking pretty solid now. I mean, they beat the
The whole
Chiefs.
team sucks one.
Wow, that's an opinion. I won't even
Yeah,
say a hot take. Wow.
not a hot take. That's
Do you want
pretty cold.
to talk about this game anymore, buddy?
Nope.
We'll move on.
49ers versus the Eagles. This was not
This
the game I
is
was expecting it to
so
be.
heartbreaking,
This
bro.
was not at all the game I was expecting
Oh
it to
my
be. 49ers
gosh.
dominated Eagles in Philadelphia
Yeah.
42-19.
They
Like,
almost hung up 49 on him.
eh. um, Brock Purdy, 19
Gosh.
27 for 314 yards and 4 touchdowns.
That's insane. This
Like,
was his
bro was just getting like,
Jaden Daniels game. This was the game where he
yeah, he
went
just,
off and everyone's like, "Oh, MVP."
yeah, his yards are insane. Like, touchdowns are insane. Eagles only had 46 total rushing yards, which, I mean, if you know anything about football, Eagles are a rushing team. They have
Between
great
Jalen
running
Hurts and
back.
Swift, yeah.
Their
Like,
quarterback can run it. Like, 46 total rushing yards is disgusting.
yeah.
Swift had 6 carries for 13 yards. He
It's
averaged just over 2 yards a carry.
I think it's 2.2 is what the stat sheet has said. It's crazy because like the Chiefs in the Super Bowl showed like the way to stop the Eagles is possession. You hog the ball, don't let Jalen Hurts do anything. You're winning that game easily, right? And then we saw like a week or two ago, Eagles had like 10 minutes of I think it was the Bills game or something. Eagles had like 10 minutes. Did they play the Bills recently? Maybe they're upcoming games.
That was the overtime one against
Okay.
Josh Allen.
Oh yeah, that's right. Eagles had like 10 minutes of possession time and like still put up like almost 40 points. So it's like, okay, they fixed that problem. Well, now the 49ers came out and said, "Oh no, the real way to stop them is just don't let them run the ball whatsoever."
The real way to stop them is to just play defense pretty well, and then they can't win.
And so that's so funny though that like they just shut down the rushing game and all of a sudden the Eagles can't produce because the Eagles lost to the Jets, who are one of the worst run defense teams.
Yeah.
So like that's insane. But I've got a hot take for this for later, but we can talk about it now, I guess, because it's kind of relevant here.
It's relevant now.
Do you does this like show that the Eagles aren't a Super Bowl team? Like, if you can get blown out by this bad,
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we've already seen that quite a bit. Um, I mean, let's look at their whole schedule because they haven't been doing anything insane. Like they only
right?
beat the
They've
Patriots by 5.
lost to the
They
Jets, barely beat the Bills, lost to
Yeah,
the 49ers. Like,
Bucks. It was an insane game. Commanders. Both times they played them, they barely beat the Commanders. Like it was
that's
tough
right.
games both
Start of the
times.
season, Commanders gave them a tough one. Barely beat the Cowboys.
Rams was a close game. Jets they lost to. Dolphins was a decent game, but it's the Dolphins who can't win against a good team. Um, Cowboys they barely beat. Chiefs was a super close game.
Well,
Bills was a super
they
close game. Like
barely beat a Chiefs team who lost to the Packers.
they barely beat a Chiefs team that
Lost to
they're
the
throwing to
Broncos.
12
Like,
different people
yeah,
every game because they don't have a wide receiver. Like I've felt the entire season that Eagles weren't like a Super Bowl winning team
yeah.
this season at least. And I think we've talked about it in previous weeks because they're barely pulling out these games. Like if they're gonna beat a team that made it all the way through,
I think
they
their
need to do something different.
biggest win margin was 14 points. They did it 3 times. They actually did it on 3 different teams. Their biggest win margin has been 14 points. Besides that, it's all been like seemingly one possession type games for the most part.
But then you have like the 49ers, the Cowboys, the Ravens that are winning by like 20, 30 points.
Yeah,
And it's like you can't be a Super Bowl team when you have all these other teams just dominating
yeah.
and you're barely beating the Patriots.
Again, it's such a weird season where we're almost going into playoff season here, and it's anybody's game. Like
But
every
probably the Bears.
it's anybody but the Bears and Broncos game. Uh, but no, like I mean, like always, you're one bad game away from being out of the playoffs. But this playoff season upcoming, like all these teams are so back and forth. Like the 49ers are recently coming off of like what a 3-game losing streak a few weeks ago. They just busted that.
Yeah.
So like they're coming off that. And now all of a sudden Brock Purdy's like an MVP caliber quarterback for people. You know, the Eagles are coming off of an overtime win. They're coming off of just the first team to hit 10 wins this season, and then they get 42 hung up on them. The Chiefs will one week look like they've figured it out. Everything looks good. Kelsey puts up 200 yards. They're clicking, and then they'll lose to the Packers. So it just seems like there's just so much back and forth that once like playoffs hit, dude, it's gonna be insane.
Yeah. Eagles right now still lead the NFC 10-2.
But this Cowboys win
Dallas,
was huge for them. Cowboys getting that win and Eagles getting that loss was huge.
yeah, same division. Dallas is now only down 1 win. Detroit is also down 1 win. And the 49ers are also down 1 win. So if Philadelphia keeps up this, we can barely win, we can't do anything, they're not going to get a first round bye. And they might not make it out of that first game.
That's crazy.
Even if they get a first round bye, they might not make it out of
What's insane? Eagles Cowboys next game.
Yeah, that'll be
a huge game right there.
I mean, obviously it'll just tie it up if Cowboys win, but it's still huge that they get to that point.
Yeah.
Also, something that's crazy, the differentials, Cowboys and Washington lead in the Cowboys lead with 160 plus 168 for differential points.
Yeah.
Washington Commanders, same division, are at the bottom with minus 134.
So the Cowboys or the Commanders could literally win like the rest of their season everyone loses, and they probably still wouldn't have a shot at cracking that top 3 in their division.
I mean, it's point differential, so I mean,
I feel like they take point differential into account for ties, though.
yeah, for ties. But that's just crazy that
It's like
same
gross.
division, Cowboys are like plus 300
What?
points.
And isn't that the Eagles division too?
Yeah, Eagles,
Who's the 4th?
Cowboys, Giants, Commanders.
Giants. That's a disgusting. You've got
What's
Eagles
crazy is
on
last
one
week the
side.
Giants were the biggest loss point differential. So the Giants are a minus 133. The
That's
Commanders
insane,
are
dude.
a minus one less than the Giants.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
Crazy division. NFC
that's an
East is just
insane.
rocking.
It's a terrible division. You want to talk about this Joe Flacco news?
Yes. So right before we got
We
on, I
checked the news beforehand.
saw that Joe Flacco is back to the practice squad for the Browns after just one game. This game wasn't awful. 23 of 44, 254 yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception, and a QBR of 51.8. Like I said, not awful, but it's also not great when you
Right.
attempt 44
44
passes
passes.
and you complete one over
I think their
50%.
top receiver, I think I said, was targeted like 12 times and caught it 4 times.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, not awful, but it's also not something you want to see out of a quarterback that you're starting.
Just so
At
funny
this
to
point,
me.
they might just not be playing anyone.
So funny to me. They might just punt the ball. It's like what we said with the Jets. They just punt it right away, and then their
Punt it,
defense
let
does
your
everything.
defense try to get some touchdowns.
Gosh, that'd be so funny. Yeah, that's poor Joe Flacco, dude. That's tough. They gave him a shot, and they were like, yeah.
I thought
I
it
mean,
was terrible to start with.
maybe
They're
that's
turning
what,
in the Broncos. They're just
bro.
getting old
At this
QBs.
point, the Browns just need to give Colin Kaepernick a shot. Not like what's the worst that happens?
Yeah, if we're just
He
signing
has
all
a
these
good game.
quarterbacks that are
Like
out of anywhere, like I'll apply. I'll send in my.
I think that's the funniest part is like people are like, oh, Kaepernick's washed up. Like, I don't want Kaepernick. Da, 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 da. But then they sign like Trevor Simeon to like come in and do absolutely nothing just to ask Zach Wilson to start again. It's like just give the guy a chance at this point. Like I get like the controversy, but like literally, what's the worst that happens? You get another loss. Like you were gonna get that with Joe Flacco anyways. You might as well give yeah. Give RG3 a chance. Let him destroy his knee and realize he's still not built for this.
Do you want to know Siemens QBR?
What?
1.8.
Yeah, it's just disgusting, dude.
So Tim Boyle was 14 of 25 for 148 yards and an interception and a sack.
Yeah.
22.2 QBR.
Oh my gosh.
Trevor Seaman went 5 of 13, 66 yards, 3 sacks, 1.8 QBR.
That's insane. Wow. Moving on to our weekly Cowboys disappointment tracker. Cowboys beat the Seahawks 41-35 in a primetime game. Yeah, this was a good game.
It was a good game.
First
it was finally not a boring one.
Dak went 29 of 41 for 299 yards and 3 touchdowns. Should just throw in one more yard.
Should have just.
Still only on 6 interceptions for the season with
Crazy.
4 regular season games left. So it's looking like the Cowboys probably a playoff team. So I'm guessing that their disappointment tracker will come to a conclusion in the divisional first round like it normally does. What are you looking at?
I just feel like you're wrong.
About what?
They've only played 12 games.
They
have 5 games left.
Who's the other one?
The Commanders. You keep throwing out the Commanders.
Why are they not on this list? Who makes these lists?
What list are you looking at?
The one on the screen. I always forget the Commanders. All right, they've got 5 games left.
I'm pretty sure last week you started it off and then you skipped the Seahawks when you started the thing and just read the last 4 or 5.
Like you said, they're second in their division after the 10-2 Eagles. They play the Eagles this week. Cowboys are 9-3, so this could make it a 10-3 tie for the division lead right now. Cowboys got Eagles. Then they got the Bills. Dolphins, Lions, Commanders, I'm feeling better about for the Cowboys. I think like those ones they could probably take. It is crazy though. The Seahawks win was their first win against a 500 plus team. So
What sucks is the Dolphins game is the first week of playoffs, and I need Tyreek to do what he does every week. But if he's playing the Cowboys, he might
defensive
not.
team. Yeah, it's a tough one.
So that means I need the rest of my team to step up.
So for all you Cowboys fans out there, don't get your hopes up. There's still There's still a time that it'll happen.
A loss?
Just disappointing and not winning the Super Bowl.
Don't get your hopes up. They might disappoint you still.
All right, moving on. Champions League match day 5 was played. So we got updates on all that stuff. Bayern, Arsenal, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, Dortmund, Manchester City, and Barcelona all lead their groups, with Real Sociedad and Inter Milan tied for their group. There is one more match day left on December 12th, and then I think they move on to like the elimination round. They start imitating each other.
The imitation round.
Moving on to NBA, for the West, the Timberwolves are leading at 15-4, with the Thunder right behind at 13-6. The Lakers are 7th at 12-9 for our weekly.
Dude, they're winning too much.
Yeah, I know, but they're still at the bottom, like of the playoff eligibility. So
good.
Let's just keep our hopes up. For the East, Celtics are on top at 15-5, with the Magic and Bucks right behind at 14-6.
Ooh.
The in-season tournament's elimination round has begun. Pacers beat the Celtics 122-112, and the Pelicans beat the Kings 127-117, with Lakers versus Suns and Bucks versus Knicks playing tonight, Tuesday. So we should have updates. We should have the end of the tournament will be by next week's episode, so we'll have updates for everything.
I won't be in next week's episode.
Oh, spoiler. NHL. We got Bruins 17-4-3 and Rangers 18-4-1, leading their divisions from the East. And then the Avs, 15-7-2, and the Knights 16-5-5, leading their divisions in the West. The Avs are currently on a 3-game losing streak.
Can you shut your mouth?
I just want to point it out for people who care about the Avs.
I already knew it was pointed out because last time they only had 15 wins and they had 6 losses, and now they have 7 losses and 2 losses in overtime. So it was pretty obvious they're on a 3-game win-loss streak.
But they're leading their division.
They could be leading even more if they weren't on a 3-game loss streak.
Gonna move on.
Yep.
Next week in sports, we don't have any college games, so it's all NFL, which is cool because we get Saturday football.
True.
You want to talk about these games? You're the NFL guy.
Means you don't get to talk. You can talk at the end. Lions versus Bears. Bears coming out on top.
Be a good game
because I need Justin Fields to go off. I need Khalil Herbert to go off. I hope bye week just like strengthen their bones. This is a long needed break. I need them to go off.
Be a good game.
Seahawks versus 49ers. I don't even know what this game could be. After what Seahawks did against the Cowboys and after what the 49ers did against the Eagles, I have zero idea how this game is going to play out.
One played a tough Cowboys defense, and the other played a tough Eagles offense. So it's like,
I have no idea what could happen in this.
You thinking it's going to be a high scoring or low scoring?
I literally don't know. I do not know.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Bills versus Chiefs. That will be a good one. It usually
it's always a good one.
I can honestly see the Bills taking it just with Chiefs.
Just so up and down. Yeah, I don't. And the Bills seem to be kind of getting a hold of things. I mean, I think they were on a bye week this week, coming off that overtime loss to the Eagles. So I think hopefully they've been really planning for this Chiefs game.
Strengthening their bones.
Be great to see the Chiefs get a loss to help the Broncos out a little more.
Except the Broncos are going to lose this week as well. Eagles versus Cowboys.
This will be a good one too. We got some good football finally. This last weekend sucked.
Yeah, again, a game that I have no idea how it's gonna go. And then Broncos versus Chargers, which I think Broncos win that off
I
of
think so.
this last week's performance with the Chargers.
6-0.
I don't know how the Chargers ever got a win in the first place.
Yeah,
Like six
that's
to zero to the Patriots. I don't.
because I mean all it
To
takes
be fair,
is
it was raining. It was raining, so there. I
oh,
saw. I watched the
lightning ain't
game.
good in the rain.
You say lightning ain't good in the rain?
Yeah, because they're the Chargers, so it's like a lightning bolt.
Lightning happens in the rain all the time.
It's not. It's not good.
But it was raining, so there were a lot of passes
Well, I think
that
it just shows
they
that
were good passes. They were just dropped.
when you play, yeah, that's a factor. Oh, but when you play when they play a defensive team, because Patriots are still a pretty defensive team. I mean, as long as Belichick's the head coach, they're going to be a defensive team. Um, um, so they played a defensive team, and because the Chargers are purely an offensive team, if you shut that down, then they have nothing to do, you know. And because the Patriots are the Patriots, they have no offense whatsoever. And so,
Well, watching it, I was like, I genuinely don't see the Patriots doing a single thing on either side of the ball.
yeah,
Justin Herbert had terrible passes, and if it was a good one, the ball was too wet, so the receiver would drop. Like it would just slip
yeah, that's
right through his
hard.
hands. So it was like the weather and Justin Herbert are the only reason that they didn't have more points because New England wasn't doing a single thing. I didn't see one play where I was like, "That's a good defense." Every play I
Yeah.
was like,
I'm
"Are
thinking
the
that
Patriots on the field?"
I'm thinking that the Broncos can get this just because our defense is getting better. Our offense is still performing kind of consistently. So, I mean, when it comes down to it, you just got to score more points than the other person. That's how you win games.
Good job,
And
buddy.
I think as long as the Broncos put more points on the board than the Chargers, then I think they win this game.
Bro found out football. That's crazy.
And then yes, the NBA in-season
And
championship.
Benitos.
Empanidos. Empanadas. Uh,
Empanada.
NBA in-season championship will be December 9th. So we'll see who gets to have a dookie duke for the makeup championship because none of
Excuse
this
me.
matters. Um,
Have a what?
like they get to duke it out.
Don't ever say that again.
Oh, breaking news! Toledo's quarterback just entered the transfer portal.
Hopefully he transfers before our bowl game.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, does that mean they don't have a quarterback for the bowl game? He was their conference player of the year too. Oh my gosh. All right, time for some hot takes.
Hot
Hot takes.
takes.
Yeah, we already kind of talked about this first one. Eagles not being a Super Bowl team. Also as the Chiefs is not being a Super Bowl team. I think that's one that we've discussed quite a bit, and
I just don't see it this year.
yeah, I just don't think it's.
It'll be nice for a Super Bowl this year
Oh my gosh, it's
because
gonna be such a good Super Bowl.
it's gonna be different teams than we've seen the last like decade. Like
Yeah,
Patriots for sure not gonna be in it.
it's gonna be like that first NBA championship after like the Cavs Warriors like 10-game run or like 10 season run, where it was just like two
When
random
it's just
teams,
them back and
and
forth.
everyone was like, "This is the best NBA championship we've ever had."
Yeah,
So
I don't see Chiefs. I don't see Eagles unless Eagles have a chance. I would say. I'd say
they
they
have
still
more
have
of
a
a chance than the
chance to like
Chiefs.
work something out.
Yeah,
Chiefs, I don't think have a chance to work something out.
it's
It'll
just
just be a
so
good
it's
Super Bowl because
so
it'll be different
wild
teams.
because you just never realize like when you're seeing the end of like a dynasty. Like the Chiefs dynasty took us all by surprise when Patrick Mahomes came in for wasn't it like Alex Smith or whatever
Alex Smith.
who got injured. Um Took the world by surprise. So the Patrick Mahomes Chiefs were like the new Tom Brady Patriots. You know, they were the top team. The NFL loved them. They were everywhere. Like that was the dynasty for a while, right? They were winning Super Bowls. Um and now like it's just you're just watching and you're like, am I watching like the end of what could be like the Chiefs dying. Like, I don't see Patrick Mahomes being done with football for a little bit, but if they don't fix these problems, dude, we might not see the Chiefs in the Super Bowl for a couple of years. Like,
with their, I mean, maybe a couple of seasons, but with their coaching,
oh
with their
yeah,
head coach, with Patrick Mahomes on the team, I think they'll, as long as he's on the team, it'll be like the Tom Brady Patriots. They'll always be
they'll be a threat.
close,
Yeah,
if not in the playoffs every single season.
yeah.
It's just whether they have the actual Super Bowl team to do it. So yeah, I think every season they'll be
A
playoff.
contender.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
until
just
they're
whether
not.
or not they'll get the tools to actually make it to and win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, there'll never be like a start to a season where you're like, yeah, I don't know about the Chiefs making the playoffs this season. You won't be saying that until like the last few weeks when you're like, yeah, they're just not performing to their standard. So, um, I saw one person's post on Twitter though. It said that Kenny Pickett's injury is going to fix the Steelers' offense and might actually be good for them.
Wow,
Do you,
that's awful.
yeah, but I don't even who's their backup.
It's Trubisky.
Ooh, Trubisky's not bad.
No, he's a good quarterback. I was mad when the Bears got rid of him. Like
So,
the
do
two
you-
seasons they had him, we went like 12-4.
Yeah,
and
that's
like
right.
8-8. Like,
So I don't know if this is such a hot take, knowing that Trubisky's going to be coming in.
it's not a hot take at all. Like it's
It's a
not.
terrible thing to say, but he's not wrong.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's crazy.
That's
They
just,
did lose to the Cardinals, but
Cardinals, like we said,
Mitch
are also
Trubisky
starting
didn't come in until like later, I think.
Yeah, one isn't it Kenny Pickett? It's just like a concussion. I'm pretty sure, right?
Looks like he broke his damn neck.
Could just broken his neck. So Trubisky will get a chance to show off what he has, and we might see him start for the rest of the season. Who knows? Another thing people are talking about: Dak Prescott for MVP.
Nope.
Okay, moving on. You don't think Dak Prescott deserves MVP this season?
He's played like one real team this whole season. Like I don't. He almost lost to the Seahawks. I don't.
Yeah, but he called his shot. He still has not thrown 10 interceptions.
That makes him MVP worthy.
Yeah, that's cool.
The 6 he's thrown were against like trash teams that he shouldn't have thrown an interception
what was
to.
the coolest thing about Babe Ruth? He would call where he's hitting his home run before he did it. That's why he was the GOAT.
No, I don't think Dak Prescott gets MVP.
Yeah, I don't think he gets it.
I'd
I
say
think
Justin Fields for MVP before Dak Prescott.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
a hot take.
Yeah.
I think Dak Prescott deserves to be in the conversation at least. He's had some good games.
He's played football, that's for
He's
sure.
played football this season, dog. That's more than he's ever done.
That's more than he's done since his rookie season.
And then last hot take here. This one is coming from myself.
Okay.
Zach Wilson needs to get out of New York. I personally believe that Zach Wilson could be a good quarterback.
You're such a Zach Wilson D writer, bro.
I'm not.
Every single week
I
you're
like him.
Zach Wilson is the best player to ever play if he's not in New York. If he's out of New York, he's going to have a 4,000-yard passing season, 50 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, Super Bowl MVP, league MVP, 8-time All-Star. Like, I'm like,
no, see,
chill.
here's my reasoning. I believe that the Jets have never tried to develop Zach Wilson. I think the closest the Jets have come to trying to develop Zach Wilson was they got Aaron Rodgers on the team, started Rodgers, and then said, "Hey, Aaron, can you go talk to the kid, give him some tips or something?" I think that's the most the Jets have ever done to like help Zach Wilson become an NFL quarterback.
You have to start the very basics with him. They're like, "Can you throw a ball?" And they watch him, and they're like,
Zach Wilson's good though. When Zach Wilson has confidence and trusts his like himself as a player, dude, like he's easily got great games.
I just ever watched Zach Wilson play a football game.
I don't because I don't want to watch. I'm scared he might get hurt, and I don't want to see it.
I don't want to watch the Jets. That's why.
No, I do. I think that Zach Wilson could have a good career if he was outside the Jets.
That's probably the hottest take you ever had, honestly.
Well, when he gets traded,
Zach
and
Wilson is 6'2".
yeah, a lot of quarterbacks are 6 foot, I think.
He's just so tiny.
When he gets traded and when he gets MVP that first season after, we'll be coming back to this podcast. Just want to point that out.